All right, hi everyone. We are doing our pilot movement stream. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be exploring how to get comfortable with our own body, essentially. What's up, Puggy? How you doing? Yeah, well, you're a bot, and I don't care what you say. May's a professional in my book. Aw, thank you so much. That's so nice. So if you guys have been hanging out in the beginning, you saw that we had a schedule over here. This is Chobi. This is my internet baby, but he's gonna move over here. Maybe he'll do the poses with us. Maybe he won't, but he's gonna be way back here. So we're going to be exploring sort of how our body just sort of reacts on its own. And then we're gonna essentially try and train it to be safe, especially when it comes to like falling, because that's really important. If you lose your balance, how do you maintain that balance, both physically and even mentally and emotionally? So let's start with some breathing exercises. That way we can kind of get in the right mindset, all right? So let me know if the volume on the microphone or the music gets too soft or too loud. Those are easy things. Chobi's gonna hang out here. Actually, Chobi's gonna hang out here. There we go. He's gonna be our mat buddy. So feel free to get comfortable with how you wanna sit. What's up, why not, how you doing? I'm going to take that actually. This is my cheat sheet for the day. So sit however is comfortable for you guys. I like lotus position. If you want, you can sit in a chair also. But I really want you guys to just, for a few minutes, close your eyes. And I want to focus on breathing. So we're going to put one hand on our belly, okay, and one hand on our chest. And this is to keep track of where we're breathing from. And I want to have the belly expand when I breathe in, and then the chest. Okay, we're going to breathe out through our mouth. Chest is going to collapse first, and then the belly. And then we're going to breathe in again through our nose. Belly expands first. Breathe out through your mouth. And again, breathe in. And breathe out. And do this at your own pace. I want this to be comfortable for you guys. And I want you to notice when you're breathing in through your belly that your hips, your sacrum actually drops. That's going to be important for later, okay? And if you do this right, you start getting really warm. So I'm gonna have to take my jacket off. Keep your eyes closed. Be in the moment if you can. I know it's really hard, especially for those of us with ADHD. And one last breath in. Try and hold it. And then let it out. Go ahead and open your eyes. How do you guys feel about that? I have to sneak up because I cannot see that far away. And I cannot find my phone. Oh, here it is. To look at chat closer on the mat. So I sound slightly muffled. Okay, I'll just project more then. I'll be doing most of this from the comfort of my Herman Miller. Excellent. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's an exercise equipment. But hey, if you're doing it with me, that's all I ask for. So, or if you're just here hanging out, that's also great. Let's see here. Let me pull up chat on my phone so it's a little easy. It's a very nice office chair. Okay, excellent. So we're going to be doing some things that are seated, and we're going to be doing some things that are standing, but they don't have to be, okay? And we can talk about how we're going to modify it a little bit later. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up chat on my phone so I don't have to sneak up every time I want to see what you guys are chatting about. All right, phone's here, chat's open. Now that we have done some exercises, what we're going to do is, so like I said, we do not have to stand for any of what we're doing today, but you are more than welcome to. We're going to actually stand, and remember how you talked about the breathing exercise, the pelvis actually, when you breathe in, it sort of tips down a little naturally to make room, to make space. We're going to do that. We're going to tip our pelvis a little forward and the knees sort of bend naturally, okay? And I want it to be comfortable. You don't have to be in like a really deep horse stance or whatnot. Just stand comfortably with the knees just, we call it softening the knees, all right? And I just want you to sway. And you can do this in your chair too, as long as you're moving from your hips. You want to start all the movement from your hips, okay? And you can experiment. Go really far one way. Maybe you can sway like forward and back, okay? Just keep those knees soft. Make sure you're standing tall. It feels like somebody's pulling a string from the back of your spine. It's going up through the back of your head, going down through your tailbone to the ground. Yeah. And we're just exploring kind of how our body naturally moves, all right? It seems like for me, this hip is a little bit easier to go back. This hip is a little bit harder for me, okay? I have a lower spinal injury from forever ago, so I can't actually tip my pelvis as forward as I would like. But hey, that's what I got to work with, okay? Yeah. It's not bad. And keep the arms pretty loose. Like, you don't want to scrunch your shoulders. You want to actually take your shoulders up to your ears and roll them back down into like your back pockets, okay? I always talk about presenting heart. So you're trying to present your heart to the other person. That tells them you're engaged, you're interested, but it also keeps you ready in a martial mentality, because if you're like this, you're hiding from everybody. You're saying stay away, and you start curling your spine, which actually breaks, for some martial arts, it breaks your posture and it makes you more vulnerable. This is a great posture for like boxing, but that's usually for a one-on-one opponent, okay? If you don't know where your enemies are going to be, then you're going to want to stay upright and alert, okay? Nice. And even if you can practice, like, what happens if you break your posture? What happens if you go forward? I lose my balance. If I step forward just a little and go backwards, I also lose my balance. What if you try and drop a hip? What does that do? That sort of thing. We're just exploring today, guys, in the first half. And then I'll start teaching you less action-y martial arts stuff, but things that will keep you safe, okay? Mostly from yourself and some elements like black ice. I use martial arts more against the elements than people, at least in a physical mentality. When it comes to, you know, talking to people and navigating social norms, I use martial arts all the time. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn just so you can see, but I want to have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, okay? And again, soft knees, so we're going to bend them just a little bit, okay? We're going to keep nice and tall, all right? And so we were swaying back and forth, right? I want you to sway forward and back now, okay? If you do too forward, though, it's really hard to come back. I have to almost lead with my head, which is very bad. If I go back far, it's really hard on this leg and this knee. So want to just kind of stay neutral. And again, shoulders are up and back. The arms are loose. They're kind of swaying on their own, actually, because I'm moving from my center, my pelvis, or what we call our dantian. So that's, if you want to be specific, it's 2 inches below your belly button and then 2 inches inward. sort of towards your intestines, okay? So I'm just letting my arms swing from the movement of my rocking, okay? I'm checking to make sure I'm standing up nice and tall so I can see all around me, because if I do this, I can't see anything above here now. There's nothing. So I want to make sure I can see as much as possible, okay? There we go. I'm going to keep this up. There we go. And this, if you're wanting to do this seated, it's totally fine. As long as you have control of your core, essentially, especially the lower half of your core. It's the same thing. If you're seated, here, I'll show you. However you're seated, if you're just moving, you can move your upper half forward and back as long as it's moving from your core. So if you want to practice this seated, I'll show you a side profile. It's move forward, move back. So notice how even though this is going forward, I'm not bending. It's a natural, I'm still extending. It's a natural forward motion, but not a bend in my spine. So you can do this seated as well. Okay, and this is really important actually, because you're relying less on your limbs. And if you're seated, you already have half your limbs, right, out of commission, because you can't really do anything with your legs. So you're making all of your movements from your torso, which is where a lot of the martial arts power comes from, regardless of the art. Okay? So if we go back to standing, I did not warm up before this. That was a bad choice. If you had one leg forward, we're going to switch legs. Okay? And we're going to sway again. Check your posture, check your shoulders, keep your arms loose. And now, the arms are loose. Let's see if we can, as if there was somebody in front of us, let's see if we can sort of use our wrist, or use our hand, and sort of like smack them in the belly, okay? This is not arm movement. This is still hip movement, but we're adding a little oomph. So how do you figure out how to add a little oomph? Okay? This side is always a bit awkward for me. Okay? Boom. Boom. Yeah, just think of, if your friend consents, have them stand in front and see if you can hit their belly. All that power is coming from the movement of your core, and then the oomph feeling comes from the legs, because I'm extending out from my heel all the way up, going all the way to through my arms, and they're acting as a whip more than anything. So if you guys have seen how whips work, it's very loose until that very end, where it just kind of tightens just for a second and then sort of swings back faster than the first part. And that's what creates that cracking sound from a whip. Okay? Boom. Bam. Smack. Smack. Okay? Oh, that freaking hurts. Oh. So, those are... Does anybody have any questions right now? Oh, just gonna sit. Don't forget to hydrate. That is very important. I live in a desert, so please, please, please hydrate. There we go. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at chat. So if it looks like I'm checking my phone, it's because I'm checking to see if anybody has any questions, concerns, comments. So, but yeah. Okay, so we're at 10:15. Awesome. And so this is going to be part of our seated practice. This is why it was important to find a soft place. If you have a soft place to kind of sit on, or because we're going to be rolling around. So maybe get a yoga mat, find some carpet. If you have enough blankets, you can pile on them. But you need basically enough to roll back and forth, just in a line, all right? So this is the foundations of keeping yourself safe, all right? So if you trip and fall, and you're standing and maybe you're just, you're walking along the way and then you step on some ice and your foot's gonna go off. Well, I'm in a really bad position, right? And this is me pausing, but if this happens in real life, oh no, I need to be able to catch myself. So I need to be able to sit down and do a roll to get back up. That will keep you so safe because I'm not going to post. That will break your wrist. And I'm not going to immediately plop down. That's going to break my tailbone. We don't want either of those things. What we want is to be able to, when we get our balance taken, or in martial arts, as we say, we get our center taken from us, we want to be able to maintain control even as we're going down. Okay? So, we're going to be doing some, basically we call them half back rolls. So it's like, how to describe it? It's like watching a baby kind of roll back and forth, okay? So the important thing is we are going to curl up one leg, okay? So that's simulating this leg has slipped out from underneath us. The leg that's sticking out is the one we're essentially going to be standing on. So we're posted on it. It's where all of our weight is, okay? So what we're going to do, I want to be very conscientious of tucking my chin. And remember when I said we're moving from our center? We are curling this back. That is moving first before anything else. And we're going to curl, keep everything in front of us. I don't want my arms out. That's going to throw me off. I want to keep everything in front of me, okay? Everything is linear and compact and tight, okay? Again. There we go. And if you can't do that or you don't want to be on the floor, you are welcome to try and do it in the chair. Again, the chair is, you're going to have a lot less movement, but it's still that same movement of pelvis forward, pelvis back. Now you're tucking your chin, and I want you to lean back just a little enough where you have to activate your core in your chair and then move back, okay? If you're wanting to do this from the chair without having to do all this extra stuff. So, hey John, it's the more evidence making kick my ass stream. I would not do that on purpose. It is purely in self-defense, officer, all right? Oh my God, Joseph, how are you doing? I'm checking chat on my phone, so I'm not checking my phone. I'm keeping engaged with you guys, so. Cool stream idea. You have, I wish we had a mod in chat, but you have Kanara to thank for that. A food and safety and cooking streamer. She's awesome. She encouraged me to do this, so I'm really happy to share this with you guys. So very nice to have someone who is an expert and anything that you demonstrate is a perfect substitute. It's definitely all of those things, Joseph. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know, Joseph, or Radio Joe, is the creator of Stream Routines. It is a wonderful tool to keep streamers, and really it doesn't have to be streamers, but it's a great tool to keep organized, stay on top of projects that you want to accomplish in your life. And it's a way to motivate future you from past you's energy. So if current you has a lot of I want to do all these things, you can set all these things up for you to check mark later in the future when you have maybe less energy or less ability to organize yourself. So it's a really cool tool that him and his team have made. So yeah, so welcome everybody. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask. If you have concerns or you're wondering in what situation would this apply, or how would I ever use this, what you're teaching now, please let me know, and we'll have a Q&A break soon, and we can talk about them. So yeah, love that intro. Thanks. No problem. So what we're doing is we are doing the first step in how to keep yourself safe, especially if you're losing your balance. Okay, so if you, for example, if you are, walking along, blah, 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 and you slip, now I'm fighting everything I can to stay up. But if you slip and you are losing your balance and you're going down, how do you keep yourself safe without posting or without just going boom with your butt? You want to be able to control the descent and maybe do a half roll to keep yourself safe, to keep all your joints intact. Make sure you don't literally bust your ass, because that is a really long and unfun 10-week process, and you have to sit on a donut. I'm not joking. So we're practicing that. We are going to tuck our head, and the theme of this stream is move from your center, move from your lower core, okay? So it's called the Dantian. The Dantian is your center of your center, essentially. So that was about 2 inches below your navel, and then 2 inches inside towards your spine. Okay, that is where, in Chinese martial arts, the concept of where all of your power comes from. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on. We're going to tuck our chin. We're going to move so our belly moves first, and we're making this rounded shape with our back to make sure when we go into a half back roll, we're not doing, this is gonna hurt, thunk. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was not fun. So that's why we don't want any thumps. We don't want any pains or sharp edges from our body. We are trying to be as round as possible to keep all of our skeletal bones, our skeleton safe. I know words. And look like a badass. You are a badass. So we're going to switch feet. It's very important to practice both sides because, for example, what if you slip on the other side with the other foot? Well, now you don't know what to do. So it's very important to try and practice on both sides and not just practice on one. Because let's say you only practice punching with your right hand. Well, what if your right hand is occupied and you never trained how to punch with your left hand? You're in trouble at that point. So let's not do that. So again, tuck your head, curl your spine, and roll back. Okay? All right. Let's try and do this on your own. Again, if you're sitting in a chair and you don't want to do the whole roll thing, that's fine. You still want to tuck your head and move as much until your core activates in your chair, and then just come back up. Okay? That's all. Tuck your head, curl back, core activates, and then you can come back up. All right? So if you guys want to do the whole roll thing, though, feel free to do it at your own pace real quick. See, this is just exploratory, what your body can do. Everyone has a better side for sure. So maybe your right side is kind of weird. It does like these weird things and you fall and you're trying to figure out how to get up and all that. So just try and pay attention to that. That's all. There's no right or wrong. The only thing that's considered as close to right as possible is, does it keep you safe? Have you had to compensate and give something up in order to keep yourself safe? Okay. And I, in midair, am switching. And I'm not moving my legs when I switch. I am going back, moving from my pelvis, and then switching. Again, moving from your center, as we call it, or your Dantian. Okay? There we go. Whew. Whew. And for those of you who want to add a little bit more trickiness, try and regulate your breathing to going back as you exhale, and then going forward, you're inhaling. Seems like a small detail, but it makes things just a little bit harder and a little bit more effective once you get the hang of it, okay? Okay. All right. Finish your last set if you want, and we can discuss as I take a drink of water. Actually, it's tea. It's decaf tea because I love tea. And we can talk about what you guys are up to today. Take a nice little break. I'm also curious for, and I don't want to call this a martial arts stream because, well, that's not what I was wanting. Let's see here. We got a little bit of a, what do I call it? Advertising that is unsolicited. Excellent. So this is a pilot stream for movement arts. And I don't want to say martial arts because I would, if you guys want more of these types of streams, I'd like to bring in some guests maybe. Some of them might be yoga instructors. Some of them might be what's not considered a martial art and what's not considered yoga, but it's a movement art all the same. We could do a tango episode at one point if you guys really, really want to, because I also do Argentine tango. So let me know what you guys are interested in, and we'll see what I can come up with. If you guys, also let me know if you guys even like this. If it's too hoity-toity, esoteric, boring bullshit, then that's fine too. This is so good. I'm drinking some what's called yuzu tea. Yuzu is a very specific type of citrus fruit that comes from like a very specific isle in Korea, South Korea, and it's so good. You take the rind of that, put a bunch of honey or sugar, and you almost make a marmalade, and then you take some of the marmalade and dilute it with hot water, and boom, you have decaf, delicious, sweet citrus tea. It's very good for summertime. Awesome. Whew, I'm just taking a quick breather because, oh boy, I didn't realize talking and doing martial arts at the same time is a lot of work. But yeah. By the way, Radio Joe, are you going to be at TwitchCon Europe in 2026? Because if so, I'm hoping to be there too. I think a regular stream like this would be a super cool way to build a community. Awesome. Yeah. I really want to add to the unsure at this point. No, that's fair. Okay. But just know, I'm hoping to be there. I hope to be there. And thank you so much for this last year introducing me to this wonderful music community. Oh my goodness. They are such lovely people. If none of you are following a music channel, you are missing out. You really are. So Radio Joe, I'm still in the process. I have not been accepted yet, but I'm planning on moving to Sweden for a year, starting in this August. So that's why I asked, which also means, because I know you and Hannah Rebecca are usually in the Europe area, we could meet up because flights are so cheap over there. Like, it is not a hard thing to meet up somewhere, or like just go to wherever you guys are at the time and have like an awesome weekend. If you're down for that. If you're not, that's totally fine too. I totally get it. We're in Europe now. Are you guys still, did you guys go back to the Isle of Man again? Or did you already finish that? Because I know you were back there for another 6 weeks, but I'm not entirely sure how many weeks have passed since you said that. Definitely stay in touch when you move over. Oh, for sure. Be down for meeting up for sure. Let's go. And you probably know where all the good food places are too. So I'm definitely going to need help with that. The end of March. Okay. France. That's cool. Do either of you speak French? I think I've asked you this before. If you do, that would be so cool. I wish I knew French. So. Yeah, so in terms of what you said about building a community just a little while ago, I really want to add to the positive that martial arts can give people. And while I'm not teaching you guys Aikido, I'm going to talk a lot about Aikido concepts because that's my main martial art. And I think that is really what we really need right now, especially in the US, about when I talk about your center being taken, okay? Your center being the physical part we were just working on, right? Your lower half of your torso, your core. That can be taken by, you know, tripping and falling and whatnot. But it can also be taken by having anxiety, by having an anger response, or basically an unchecked negative emotion, even a positive emotion. It can lead to not great decisions or hasty decisions that you may or may not regret later. So how do you maintain that in the face of adversary? That's what I think martial arts and movement arts as a whole can remind us, that we don't have to get engaged negatively in a conversation that we don't necessarily want to participate. But maybe because anger is a very, very good emotion to sort of bypass our logic system, how do we realize, oh, we're speaking with angry words and angry tones? And I don't want to do that. How do I stop? That's a very important thing that I think movement arts can teach us. So I want to add that to all of the craziness that we have on TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff. So I've been studying French casually for several years. That sounds like me and Chinese and Japanese. So I'm like, I know enough to get myself in trouble with the locals. That's what I say. So, okay, let's get back into it. We have about 2 more different concepts I want to talk about with you guys today. And then we'll wrap up and have our last cool down Q&A. We'll do our closing breathing exercise that we started with in the beginning. And yeah, and let me know if you guys want more of this. I would love to do more, but you know, I don't want to give you guys something you're not interested in. So I don't want to waste your guys' very precious time. Okay, so the very last 2 things we are going to be doing are actually standing exercises. So if you guys are comfortable with standing, this one is a little bit more tricky to do in a chair, stationary. But if you want to stay in a chair, let me know and we can modify it so you can still participate if you want, okay? So this one is going to require just a little bit of coordination, okay? It's gonna be a bit hard. I've been sitting on a pillow, I need to move that, okay. So we are going to be doing some footwork, okay? So I want you all to start with your, let me see here. It's gonna look a little bit weird, but we're gonna start with our left foot forward. So I think I'm mirrored on OBS right now. So just listen to what I'm telling you with which foot moves where, more than watching the screen at this point. So the left foot is forward, the right foot is back. So it looks like this. Again, posture is nice and tall, like I'm having a string being pulled through the back of my head, through my spine, and it's going up and down because I want to drop that sacrum, okay? So see that curl? That's me dropping the sacrum. We call it making our spine soft, okay? And I'm not doing that. That's almost all of my weight on my back foot, which means if somebody came over and pushed me, I would just do that. And all my weight isn't on my forward foot, because the other opposite can happen if somebody pushes me this way. So I want to be sort of steady and neutral. So a lot of my weight is on my forward foot, but I would have a hard time trying to pick up my back foot, okay? But a lot of it, probably 70-30, I would say, about. So 70% of weight is on my front foot, 30% is on my back, okay? So if the left foot is forward, what we're going to do is we are going to take a step forward with the left, and the right is going to follow behind, okay? So with that, let's try that again. So left foot forward, right behind, and I'm keeping my posture nice and tall, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that right foot that's behind us, I'm going to take a step towards my right, boom. So I've already just switched what we call stances, okay? I've switched which foot is forward and which foot is back, and that's okay. So from here, I'm going to step, and again, back foot is always going to follow the front foot, because if I don't, I have a really wide stance now and I can't really move. So left foot is forward. We're going to step forward. Our right foot is going to step off to our right. Okay. Now we're going to turn. Okay. So now our left foot is forward again, and we're going to step with our left. Okay. So let's try that again. Oh, I forgot a step. I'm so sorry. So we are going to start over again. My apologies. So left foot is step forward. We're actually going to turn now. So we're going to turn back, and then our right foot is forward now. Sorry, I'm facing away from the camera. But we're going to do a step. Okay? So that means our right foot is forward, our left foot is back. I'm turning back to the camera so you don't see me talking to nobody. Now we're going to take our left foot and step towards our left side. So our left foot is forward now, and our right foot is back. Now we turn, and our right foot is forward. There we go. It's sort of a mind puzzle, but it's there for a reason. It's to have you have body awareness and spatial awareness, okay? Because you can do this. If you do not have a lot of room, you can do very tiny steps. Very tiny steps. If you have a lot of room and you want to practice maintaining your posture and balance while having to make big movements, you can make really big steps. And that is really good practice, okay? So we'll break it down one more time. It's going to be left foot forward. We're going to step forward. The back leg is always going to trail behind. We're going to turn. Right foot forward, steps. Left foot is going to step out towards our left side. Boom. Okay? And then we're going to turn. Whoops, don't lose your balance, like I said. And then step forward with the right. And that's it. There we go. Sorry, I didn't stretch my feet, and they're cramping terribly. I don't think I ate enough potassium last night from martial arts. So it's very important to actually stretch after you do your physical exercise, not before. All right, so if on your own time, try to do this on your own, okay? And if you get lost, I'll be doing it up here, but see if you can find the pattern on your own, okay? So, boom, boom. Okay, and reset. So, boom. That was bad. So, one more time, freestyle. And it's really important for you to fully face the direction you're about to go. Because if I do it this way, I'm doing a side step. I don't want to do a side step yet. I want to keep doing a forward step in relation to my body. Okay? Because I'm not going to punch somebody this way. I'm going to punch someone this way. This does not make sense, right? That's just my arm. But if I'm this way, I can, as what we've been talking about, we use our center, we use our core, our lower abdominal muscles, and our hip movement to make everything powerful. Okay? Boom. That makes more sense, right? Because this isn't going to do anything. It might irritate your person that you're trying to punch. So, we just did that. As I said, it's good to practice both sides. So now we're going to put our right foot forward, okay? And this might trip people up. So right foot forward, left foot is back, all right? We're going to step forward with our right, okay? We're going to turn. Now our left foot is forward. We're going to step forward. Now, it's easier to go this way, towards the right, than we did with the left. So let's step with our right foot first, and then turn and go to our left. So it's mirrored, okay? Right foot forward again. Step. Turn. Left. Right. Left. Okay? One more time together, and then we can practice on our own. So right foot forward. Left. Right. And left. Awesome. So if you want to practice that on your own, let me know. Or just go ahead and do that, sorry. And you can check back in if you're confused on the screen. There you go. So, turn. Okay. Check your posture every once in a while, sorry. Because it can get kind of wonky. I end up settling back onto my back leg because I get lazy. Try not to get a little, and I shouldn't say lazy, it's a habit everyone develops because it's easier, but it's not necessarily what's going to keep you safe. Okay? Boom. All right, finish up your set and we will talk about the next thing, okay? Oh, I can feel myself getting a little off center. Okay, so where are we at on time? We are doing pretty good, actually. All right, actually, we are going to, let me see here. Awesome. So the very last thing is we're going to, remember when we were doing our backwards rolls? We were doing this. Okay. Now that we have gotten familiar with both our core and our legs, we're going to try and combine those two by doing a simulation as if you have lost your balance, okay? So, how are we going to do that, May? I don't know how to do that. So, remember how I was showing you we lost our balance. We don't have to go that extreme, okay? So when you're standing, what you can do is you can place one foot, actually let me scoot up to the front of my mat. You're going to place one foot and post. This foot is completely free. If you need a wall, that's why it's right here for me, you can have a hand here to help you keep balance if you need that. But try to have all of your weight on your posted leg, okay? On this one, I would recommend the leg that's closest to the wall, if you're using a wall, to be the leg you're standing on. That way it's easier to lean against the wall because it's a bit harder this way. Okay, and so what we were talking about, you're going to tuck your head. You're going to move from your core first, and that sticks my butt out, right? And I'm going to, as far as you are comfortable, gently lower yourself. And I'm using the wall to push against too, and dragging my hand. And we're going to go all the way down to a roll. Okay? That is very important to learn, because it is as if you have lost your balance. And you're walking, you lost your balance, and you're like, oh crud. That is a very safe way to fall, because I'm not sticking my arm out and stopping it, and I'm not just dropping to the ground and possibly busting my ass. So neither of those options are great. So let's try again. So I'm going to, and if you don't want to use a wall, that's fine. What you can do if you're not going to use a wall is, most of my weight is on my posted leg, and this free leg, point your toes and rest the top of your foot on the ground. And I'm actually wrapping it almost around my my other leg. So it sort of looks like, if this is the direction of my foot, I'm going around it. So with my legs, I'm actually making a cross, because I'm sticking it back and around. And again, tuck your head and then curl your body. Boom. And arms stay in front, because then you know you're not going to post. So without a wall again, you're going to take this foot that's free, stick it right behind your other ankle, and you're going to tuck your head, curl your tummy, and gently lower yourself. Okay? And again, you don't have to go all the way down. If you want to use the wall, you're going to do the same thing with your foot, actually. You can just go down this far if you want. That's fine. That you're still practicing the concepts of keeping yourself safe. So when you actually do need it, because let's be honest, we've all tripped and fallen, and everyone's noticed, at least to our mind, you're ready. You're ready for when that happens, okay? I'm going to switch to this side. Again, it's good to practice both sides in case there's a wall on your right side instead of your left. So I'm going to post with the same leg, stick it back. I need to make sure I have enough room. And I'm going to tuck my head. And that's all I have to do. If you're feeling daring and you're doing these half squats, I would stick my hand out a little farther, and I can go back just a little farther with an arm as a counterbalance. Okay? This is a leg workout, if you want to do leg workout. At least it is for me. But yeah. So again, this foot is just to get it out of the way. Okay? It's curled around. So, because if I do this, it actually changes, it gives more energy to falling backwards. So I want it here, and I can kind of see where, if I have a clear enough space to sit back and fall down. So if I do it without the wall, in the stand, post, foot curls, points, curls around, and head tucks. And I'm going to move from my belly. Whoa. There we go. Whew. So you can do that a few more times. All right. Okay. And the reason I say tuck your chin all the time is because if you really get a lot of momentum, your head is naturally going to whip back from the amount of energy being pushed through your body, because it's going to go out some way, either through your limbs flailing, your legs kind of being kicked out from underneath you, or your head being whipped back. So that's why it's really important, especially if you're falling backwards, to tuck your chin so you don't give yourself a concussion, okay? Whoa. I'm going to switch to the other side because I feel a little off balance now. Boom. That is half back rolls. So, all right. feel free to finish whatever you've been doing, and let's come together for the last of it. We are actually going to try and control our breathing. Get a drink of water if you need to, and when you are ready, go ahead and either sit in like lotus, sit in a chair. Often people suggest sitting your butt on a pillow but your legs on the ground. That way your hips are above your knees. Pick whatever is comfortable for you. And we're going to close out with some breathing exercises. Okay, so we're going to put a hand on our belly, the one lower belly, because that's what we've been working on all day. And actually try and put a hand on your chest, because when we breathe in through our nose, I want my belly to expand before my chest. And then we're going to breathe out through our mouth. Chest falls before the belly shrinks. Breathe in. Belly expands. Chest expands. Breathe out through the mouth. Chest collapses. And then the belly collapses. Feel free to close your eyes. Breathe at your own pace. Try to find any tension in your body and release it when you exhale. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Some martial arts will say keep your eyes soft. And soft in this case doesn't mean squeezing them shut and making that scrunched up sour face. It just means closing your eyes. And try and keep as little tension in your body as possible. Okay, last breath in. Try and hold it. And exhale. Try and hold it now. And relax. Feel free to open your eyes and shake it out if you need to. Whew. That was awesome. If you have stiff legs, feel free to stick them out, shake them. Some martial arts will ask you to take a fist and sort of just like thump your body on the major muscle groups. That is actually a like thousands-year-old technique. I don't exactly know what it does, but it definitely loosens the fascia. Oh, so whew, that was good. That's it for what we did today. You guys did great. Give yourselves a round of applause. You should be super proud of yourselves if you participated, if you showed up, if you stopped by, and even if you're not here. So be proud of yourselves. So what did you guys think? I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm just gonna tip this a little bit lower since we're chatting now. There we go. There's my cheat sheet right there. But yeah. So that's what I hope to do, is use movement as a way to talk about how can we maintain our center, whether it's in physical conflict or emotional or mental conflict. That's because it's easy to know when someone is physically trying to assault you in some way. And by assault, I just mean, somebody like coming up to a bar and like shoving your shoulder, That's pretty easy to tell. Like this guy's got a problem with himself or something. How do you maintain your center that way? How do you maintain calmness and perspective? But when you're in a conversation, when you're maybe not a shouting match, but you're in a disagreement, how do you maintain your center that way too? So I think that's what movement arts is really good for, is discussing what we kind of forget when we're in the middle of a movement practice, because there's only so much time that we have to learn the yoga poses or learn the karate kata forms for the next competition or the next belt. But I think we forget that they all came from a way to enhance our life outside of our place of practice. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? You look silly up there. I know. I look silly anywhere, let's be honest. So, I really appreciate you guys coming, showing up, and hanging out. Maybe you guys did it with me. That's awesome too. That's great. So, and I also want this type of stream to be empowering for people, because as I said earlier, if you're not doing or capable of doing what I'm demonstrating, we can talk about it. If you, for example, are wheelchair bound and you can't do the standing things, that's fine. There's different ways to do the same practice, the same concept. And so we can talk about it. You don't have to feel disempowered because you can't do X, Y, or Z. That's not the point of a movement art. That's not the point of learning things. It's not to know what you can't do. You already know that. It's to learn what you can do. So, yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm not sure who is on to go raid. Let's see here. That's Discord. That's not who I can go check to see who's on streaming. Let's go here. Let's go to Twitch. Whoops, that was all my music too. My bad. I'm good at this. I am a professional. The tricky thing with movement art, I'm not sure who would be good to raid, because it's such a different vibe, you know? There is, well, somebody's doing Minecraft, which can be pretty chill. Let's see here. We could go raid Apothic Decay. She's doing some Minecraft, doing, what is it? She's in SMP Minecraft, interestingly enough. So, thanks for sharing what you do with us, mate. Oh, thanks for being here, Wina. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you guys enjoy it. I hope you do. If you found it beneficial, awesome. If it was just to body double, get some things done, that's great too. Use it in a way that makes sense and works for you, you know? The only thing I will say is, please do not take this as a substitute for professional and in-person training of whatever movement art you are doing. If your instructor wants you to do a certain thing and move in a certain way, it's for a reason, okay? It might be because it's a stylistic thing. It might be because it actually is, it's safer with their lineage and their concept, or it flows better. Like, follow that, okay? Excuse me. This is meant to be supplemental and exploration and just enlightenment, and a way we can talk about how can movement arts improve our daily lives, and not just something we like go to the gym for an hour, do it, and then put it on a shelf, okay? It should benefit many aspects of your life, not just for the physical health benefit. So, yeah. Why not? Do you have anybody who would be fun to go go raid with? Let's see here. Because all I have right now, I believe, is Apothic Decay, and there's Looty Games Music. Looty's pretty cool. It's a fundraiser train for the, what is it? It's a fundraiser for the open mic after party event in Rotterdam. Oh, I think that's for the next TwitchCon, if I remember correctly. Huh. All right, let's go say hi to Apothic Decay then. Raid. Whoops. Raid. Apothic Decay. Awesome. So thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, please, and yeah, I will see you. So next week I'm taking off from all streams. I need to do a staycation, work on some stream stuff. I have a surprise for all of you on the YouTube side that I'm trying to get out. So I really want to work on that to give that to you guys next week and sort of clean things up. Hopefully I'll be able to clean things up here on the laptop too. But yeah, take care and I'll see you all later, all right? Bye. I'm going to send you over now.